Paige, and today's video is going to be my best makeup of 2021 video. I collected up my absolute favorite makeup products from this year, and I'm gonna share them with you guys. Everything will be linked down below in the description box in case you guys want to check anything out. I also just filmed a video kind of looking back on my 2020 favorites. If you guys want to see my 2020 favorites video from last year, I will link that down below, and then I will also link my video where I kind of revisited those products. I just posted it like yesterday, so you guys, you know, either should have seen it or it's my previous video, so it should be pretty easy to find, but I will still have that one linked down below as well. If you guys are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's go ahead and get started. So I have my basket here of favorite products from this year, and I am so excited to show you guys everything because this basket of products makes me so happy to look at because everything is my favorite, like I said. Some of these products I did discover this year, some of them came out this year, and then some of them are older products that I either rediscovered or they may have come out a while ago, but I didn't find them until this year, and I started loving them this year. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm gonna try to go in order of makeup application, but we'll see how that goes. So to start things off, we have a favorite primer this year, and this is one that is, I would say, more of an honorable mention because I didn't start using this product until the later part of the year, like maybe the last 3 or 4 months if I had to guess, probably the last like 3 months. And this is from e.l.f. This is the Holy Hydration Face Cream. This is an amazing makeup base. I love it so much. It has SPF 30 in it, which is fantastic. It is a very hydrating product. It feels like a moisturizer, like a skincare moisturizer, and it kind of reminds me of the Juno & Co. Moonshine Miracle Cream. If you guys remember my love for that product, I still love that and I still do use that, but there's just so many other primers that I try to incorporate. So this one has kind of taken over as my favorite moisturizing primer. I think this just preps my skin so well for makeup, and I would highly recommend it. It has hyaluronic acid and peptide complex in it, whatever that means. It's also pretty affordable since it is e.l.f. and I just would highly recommend this. I do have more oily skin. I also have acne prone sensitive skin, and I find that this works really well for me. It doesn't break me out and it doesn't make me too oily or greasy. It just hydrates my skin and, you know, starts off a great makeup process for me. So I would highly recommend this. If you guys haven't tried it yet, I'm pretty sure you can find it at Target or the e.l.f. website, of course. Like I said, everything will be linked down below so you guys can just go directly to the products. But yeah, this is my, we're calling it my favorite primer of 2021. For favorite foundation, I feel like this should not be a surprise if you guys watch my videos. I'm gonna let you go ahead and pause and comment down below what you think my favorite foundation of 2021 is. I would say this is like my go-to foundation this year. I'll give you a hint. I've kind of been leaning more towards medium coverage, more natural finish foundations and makeup, so hopefully you've had enough time to comment your answer down below and click send. But my favorite foundation of this year is the Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation. This stuff is so good. I freaking love it. I actually bought this because of someone that I watch on YouTube. Her name is Julia Havens, and their YouTube channel is Julia and Hunter, I'm pretty sure is the name of it, but they are more like lifestyle vloggers, home decor type people, and she, I think, used to work for Sephora, and I saw her do like a sponsored post for this foundation, and she's actually done several sponsored posts for it, and I was just like, okay, I know this is sponsored, but I trust her, so let me buy this and see how it is. And I instantly fell in love. This does have medium buildable coverage. It has a natural finish. I'm in the shade 17.5 and this is almost completely gone. I just like shook it up so it's like all over the place, but I'm almost out of this and I'm about to have to repurchase. I did buy another shade recently, but it's a little bit too deep for me now, so I need to rebuy 17.5N because this is my perfect shade. I highly recommend this. I think it looks great on the skin, and this paired with the e.l.f. primer is fantastic. Also, I don't think this is technically marketed as a primer, but they do say that you can either use it as your last step in your skincare routine at night or in the morning, or you can apply it before makeup to help prep and prime skin for perfect application. So it's not marketed as a primer per se, it's a face cream, but they do recommend that you use it before makeup application, so I use it basically in place of another primer. For concealer, I have two to talk about, and I use them both for different reasons. The first one I want to talk about is the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. I really hope they still sell this, because if not, I'm gonna feel really bad. But I use this almost every single day. This is what I use when I don't want to wear foundation. I will dot concealer all over my face and buff it out with a flat top brush, and this is the one that I use. I have this in the shade Buff Beige, or M150, and I will literally take this and I'll do like dot 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 dot, one on the nose, one on the chin kind of thing, and then I'll buff it out, and it, you know, just gives me a nice natural look. It's not perfect, you can still see like breakouts and imperfections through it, but it really just helps even my skin tone. It has a nice natural finish as well. It's not dewy, it's not matte, it's not oily, it's just very, very natural, and I don't even set it with powder, so it's very quick, very easy, and I think it looks great. So I will just moisturize / prime my face, dot this all over, buff it out, and then I'll just go directly in with, you know, bronzer, blush, highlight if I want to wear that. If not, I won't, but that's what I did today. So I just have a little bit of bronzer, blush, and highlights directly on top of this. I'm sure you can do the same exact technique with any concealer, but this is the one that I absolutely love doing it with. So I really hope they still sell this, because if not, I'm gonna be crushed and I'm gonna have to find a new one. But this is so good and I highly recommend it, and I love that it's CoverGirl because it's at the drugstore and definitely more affordable than some other concealers. And then the other one that I wanted to talk about, I use more so if I'm doing like a full face of makeup. So primer, foundation, concealer under my eyes and the center of my face, loose powder, and all of that. And that would be the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is one that I've had for a while. I used to have it a long time ago and I really enjoyed it, and then I kind of forgot about it, and then wow, that was loud. Then I kind of started using it again randomly, and it is so good. It makes my under eye area look fantastic. I love the color that I have as well. This is the shade Vanilla. It works really well with my skin tone. I love the formula. It's not super full coverage, but it does cover up everything that I need it to, and it doesn't get cakey or dry or cracky or anything. So I find that this is a fantastic concealer to use. It is a little bit more pricey, but I definitely think the price is worth it. For powder, I have two powders to talk about. The first one is the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. This is one that I recently discovered. Well, I say recently meaning like probably this year, maybe the end of last year, I don't really remember, but this has been around for a really long time. So considering that, I'm pretty new to this product, but as you can see, I hit pan on it. I love this stuff. I think this is great. If, for example, it was like super hot outside, or I thought I was gonna, you know, be outside for a while and might need my makeup to just like last a little longer or stay in place a little better, I would take this and set the concealer in the areas where I would probably most likely get oily. So like right in here, my forehead, nose, and chin area. So sometimes I will set my light concealer with this. Sometimes I'll set a full face of makeup with this. I'll go in with a loose powder under my eyes and then set the rest of my face with this pressed powder. I think this is great. I have it in the shade Sandstorm, which is 004. It's really inexpensive. I think it's like $3 or something, and it has a little bit of a scent. And it doesn't smell great. It smells like makeup to me, like powder, but the scent doesn't bother me. It's not like an added fragrance, I don't think. I just think that's just how the product smells. It's always smelled like that, and I know some people don't like that about this powder, but I think it's great and I think it works really well. So this is definitely a favorite for this year for me. And then the other powder I want to talk about is a loose powder, and this is again one that has been around for a long time and I have loved it for a long time, but this year I really focused on using this powder, and this is the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. This is a cult favorite amongst the beauty community. So many people love this, and they have for years and years and years, and I don't know, it was in my everyday makeup drawer for like 3 months and I just went to town using this. I love it so much. I think it's fantastic. It's a very good long wearing powder. It looks great on top of any foundation or concealer that I use, and I just feel like this is one that so many people would like because it's pretty like neutral. It's not like overly pigmented, it's not overly sparkly or, you know, shiny or glowy or anything like that. It's just very basic, very neutral, and I absolutely love it. And I think pretty much anybody that tries this would love it. I don't think I've ever heard a negative review on this powder, and they do have multiple shades. They have a honey shade, which is a little bit more warm toned, also a little bit deeper, and then they have a deeper shade as well. They have the glowy versions of this, but I prefer the regular translucent loose setting powder. I think it's great and I highly recommend this. For bronzer, I have two to talk about, and they're actually pretty similar. So the first one is from Milani. This is the Baked Bronzer in the shade 02 Dulce. I think this is a fantastic bronzer. This is one that has a little bit of shimmer in it, so if you don't like shimmery bronzer, you will not like this. But it is a baked formula, and I feel like this just adds such a nice glow to the skin. It's definitely not like a highlighter glow, just like a very subtle, healthy glow. I like the color of this. I love the formula. I find that it blends really well. It's very easy to use. I definitely would recommend this. I know they have a few different shades, but I use the shade 02. And then the other one that was my favorite for this year, which I have a lot of like bronzers that I loved this year. I had to really think about this. The Revlon Skin Lights bronzer was my favorite bronzer in my 2020 video, and I used that a ton this year, and I would still say that that is like an honorable mention product for this video, but I didn't want to have any repeats, so that's why I didn't mention it as my true favorite. So the other bronzer is from Hourglass, which is a completely different price point from the Milani one, but this again I'm pretty sure is a baked formula, and it has that, you know, different color veining throughout the product, similar to the Milani one. These are two very different colors though. This shade in the Milani definitely pulls more yellow, and this one definitely pulls more neutral, I would say. But this is a fantastic bronzer. This is the Luminous Bronze Lighting Bronzer. It's very expensive, but I think it's worth it. I would definitely try to get it on sale if you can, or, you know, like sign up for the Hourglass website email or something so you guys can get a discount. But I love this stuff. I think it's great. It is quite pricey, but it's worth it. And by the way, these are obviously all my opinions, and things that work for me may not work out for you, which I hope that they do work for you because that would be really cool. But just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there. These are the best products in my personal opinion. So last year I didn't mention a favorite blush, but this year we are mentioning multiple favorite blushes, but it's one blush palette, and this is from Laura Lee Los Angeles. This is the Blush Aesthetic palette. First of all, the aesthetic of the Blush Aesthetic palette is freaking fantastic. I love it so much. This is freaking beautiful. This is a palette with 8 different blushes in it. Here's what it looks like. We have, I think, 7 matte blushes, and then this one is like a shimmery, kind of like highlighter-y shade, but you can layer this on top of any of the other blushes and kind of create your own shimmery blush with any of these shades. So I think it's a very versatile palette. There are so many shades in here that I freaking love. The only 2 that I haven't worn yet are these 2. This is a pretty deep like berry kind of wine shade, which I don't know how that's gonna look on my skin tone. We'll see. I definitely want to try it at some point. And then this one is pretty cool toned, which personally I just prefer more of a warm toned like peachy pink blush. So I'm also a little bit nervous to try that shade, but every other shade in this palette is absolutely fantastic. The formula is great. They're very nice buildable blushes. They have amazing color payoff, and I really like the addition of this shimmery shade. I think it really adds to the palette. So this is amazing. Definitely check it out if you haven't already, and it's very affordable as well. She priced this very well, and you get so many different colors in one palette, which is great. So it's basically like getting 8 in one. So definitely check this palette out. It is freaking amazing. I have a few different highlighters to talk about. The first one is from Glamlight. This is the Michaela and Glamlight collaboration highlighter. This is so freaking good, you guys. I don't know what it is about this formula, but it's very unique and it's amazing. I have talked about this in so many videos. I have worn it in so many videos. I wear it all the time in real life or like in my off-camera life, I should say, and I just love the color of this. It's very blinding, so if you don't like an overly intense highlighter, maybe stay away from this one, but you can go in with a lighter hand and keep it a little bit more subtle, or you can go there with this and it is extremely blinding. I love using this on my inner corner as well of my eyes and my brow bone. I just think it looks so good. I love that it has a slightly kind of champagne undertone, so it's not just like a straight white highlighter. It is still very bright, so it works for me because I'm very fair, but I do think that this would still work on, you know, a wide variety of skin tones. But this is definitely a pretty bright highlighter, but I like that it has a little bit of that beigey kind of undertone, so that it's just not like a stark white shimmery shade. Like, for example, I don't even have an example. I was gonna say, like, for example, I think like Glazed Donut from Ofra, the Nikki Tutorials collab, that one is pretty bright white and you have to really want an intense highlighter to use that. This just has a little bit of that kind of beigey undertone, which just like, I don't know, it makes it work better. I like it. I love it. This is great. I would highly recommend it. And you guys can use code PAIGE for 15% off of Glamlight products. And then the other highlighters I wanted to mention are actually both from Ofra. I love Ofra highlighters. They are fantastic. Once again, I have a discount code with Ofra. You guys can use code PAIGE for 20% off. And I have two that I want to talk about. The first one is Star Island. This is such a beautiful highlighter. It's very bright, very blinding, very stunning. I find that the Ofra highlighters are very intense while still being very smooth and not overly enhancing texture on my skin, which I love. This again has a little bit of that beigey kind of light gold undertone, so it's not an overly stark bright white highlighter, but it's still very intense and beautiful. So Star Island is fantastic. And then my other favorite for this year is actually a collaboration. This one was in collaboration with Steph Toms, and this is the Milk and Cookies highlighter, and I actually think I like this one a little bit more than Star Island. I think this is my favorite highlighter from Ofra. And that's saying a lot. It's a very difficult decision for me because I have so many of them and I love them all. But this, something about this is so good, especially the lighter side. I don't know what shade this is. I don't know if this like comes in a single somewhere, but the lighter half of this highlighter, absolutely fantastic. You guys need this highlighter. If I'm being honest, I am not familiar with Steph Toms and their content, but I do love their highlighter. This is the best highlighter ever. So yeah, definitely check out Milk and Cookies from Ofra, and it's definitely time that I look into Steph Toms because I'm always recommending this highlighter. So my camera battery is about to die. It wouldn't be a Paige video without me saying that, so I'm gonna go switch it and I will be right back. I am back with a new camera battery and we are going to continue on with mascara. We're gonna talk about mascara, then we have lip products, and then we have eyeshadow palettes, and that's gonna be it for this video. So for mascara, I wanted to mention the Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes Mascara from Charlotte Tilbury. This is an incredible mascara. I used this completely up. This is actually a new one because I find that I cannot live without this mascara. It's fantastic. So let me go ahead and show you guys what this wand looks like. This is a rubber wand. It's kind of like a little bit of a triangular shape, or like a diamond shape. When I go this way it's flat, but when I go this way you can see it's kind of like a diamond. And I used to love the bristly ones. Like if you asked me this time last year, I would say no, I wouldn't like that mascara because it has a rubber wand, but I actually love pretty much a lot more mascara ones than I thought I did. This one is great. I love it. The formula is fantastic, and I really find that it just gives my lashes great length and volume. So definitely check this mascara out. The other one that I wanted to talk about is what I'm wearing today and what I've been wearing a lot recently. So I ran out of the Pillow Talk one, and then I switched over to the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. This is so good. I've used like minis of this in the past, but I've never used a full size before. Here is what the wand looks like. It has a curve in it, and it's slight, but it's definitely there. And I love using this to apply both my upper and lower mascara. It just gets really close into your lashes. Again, this is a rubber wand. It has shorter bristles though, so you really got to get up in there, and it gives my lashes great volume and length. Once again, I highly would recommend this mascara. Both of these are freaking fantastic. For lips, I have a lip gloss and then two lipsticks to talk about. The lip gloss is, again, sort of like an honorable mention because it's pretty new to my collection, but I instantly fell in love. This is from Huda Beauty. This is the Silk Balm in the shade Rose Quartz, or actually it's in the shade Love Stone, but it's the Rose Quartz collection Silk Balm. I think that there's actually a few other shades, which sounds bad because I want to buy them, but we'll see what happens. This is amazing. It has like a cinnamon scent to it, which I feel like isn't typical for lip products. Like usually it's like minty or like vanilla or fruity or something, but I don't think I have any other cinnamon scented lip products. But this is great. It has a little bit of a shimmer to it. It's a light pinky kind of color. I'll go ahead and swatch it actually. Here's what it looks like. It's pretty sheer. It has a little bit of a light pinky tone to it, but on the lips it really is a very sheer gloss. But it does have some sparkle in it, which just adds such a good touch. So this is great. I love it. I would highly recommend this. I actually bought the Rose Quartz palette from Huda Beauty, and I was gonna buy this, but then I was like, no, I don't need it. And then I saw someone talk about how much they loved it. I don't remember who it was. And then I ended up picking this up during the Sephora sale in November, and insta love with this right here. It's so good. And then the other two lip products probably won't come as a surprise to you if you watch my videos once again. So we have two lipsticks from MAC. I am recently a MAC girl. I wouldn't even call myself a MAC girl. I just realized how much I love MAC lipsticks. I have quite a few of them now. I'm pretty sure I got these this year, probably towards the beginning of this year, and I can't get enough. Like, these are freaking amazing. So I'm wearing one of them today. I'm wearing the shade Blankety, which is my all-time favorite. Like, this is the best MAC lipstick ever. It is a light pinky nude color. It's just so perfect. Again, this is what I have on. It's a cream finish. It's an amplified cream lipstick, so it's great. I love it. I couldn't ask for a better lipstick color. And then the other one that I have is called Honey Love, which I was wearing this shade in my looking back at 2021 favorites video that I filmed and I guess probably posted yesterday when you're seeing this. And here's what this one looks like. This is more of a matte finish. Yeah, this is a matte lipstick, and this has much more of a peachy tone to it. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see based on the swatches on camera, but Blankety is a very baby pink nude shade, and then Honey Love is much more of a peachy, warm-toned nude color. But both get a 10 out of 10 for me. I love these. I feel like I'm gonna wear Blankety like for the rest of my life. It's that good. So definitely check out those lipsticks from MAC. they sell them at Ulta, at least online, and then they also sell them like at department stores and MAC stores and the MAC website. And I think now all we have left is eyeshadow palettes, and I have technically 4 to show you guys. One of them is my palette that I mentioned in last year's video, and that is the Lauralee Nudie No. 2 palette. This is still one of my all-time favorite palettes. I mentioned this last year even though I had only been using it for like a month or so, but it is so freaking good, and I used it all year long. It's amazing. I talked about it a little bit more in yesterday's video, but I just had to throw it in here again as an honorable mention because I could not film a yearly favorites video without talking about that palette, so had to throw that in there first. But next we have 3 palettes that I did not talk about last year, and these were ones that I fell in love with this year. The first one being the Nude Mood palette from ColourPop. This is kind of one that was under my radar, or like it was like not on my radar, I guess is what I was saying. It's a really beautiful palette. It's a very pretty everyday nude palette, and you've got some shimmers, some mattes, a nice variety in here, but I just never really thought much of it until I brought it with me, I think when I was traveling, and then I used it every single day when I was out of town, and then I came back home, and then I continued to use it almost every single day. It's a very easy palette to use. You can create a ton of different everyday looks, and you can get away with just using 1 or 2 shades, and you have a really pretty eye look. Also, it has a great price tag because it's from ColourPop, and the shimmers in here are phenomenal. So you could definitely probably find these palettes or these shades in other palettes, but this is a great one to have. It's nice, small, compact. It's the cardboard packaging, which I prefer from ColourPop, and it's great. Definitely buy this palette if you are looking for a new everyday eyeshadow palette. Next, we have a palette from Natasha Denona. This is the Retro palette. This one was one that came out a few months back, and I instantly fell in love with it, you guys. This palette is freaking amazing. I love the color story. I think this is my favorite color story from Natasha Denona. Definitely, at least from the midi size palettes. This is a $65 palette, so it is pretty pricey, but it's definitely worth it. You get a ton of different shades in here, you get a ton of product, and some of these colors are just like incredible, and I say I could not live without them as an exaggeration or hyperbole, I guess, but this is a great palette. I love it. I would highly recommend it. I love the colors in here. It's definitely more on the cool side, which usually I feel like I'm not into the cool tone shades as much, but since they lean so like pinky and like kind of mauve-y, I feel like that's part of why I love it so much. So this is a great palette. I think it's fantastic. And my last product that I have to talk about is one that a lot of people ask me to compare to the Retro palette, and that is the Rose Quartz palette from Huda Beauty. This is my all-time favorite palette of this year. It is incredible. You guys need it. I love this palette so much. I think this has taken over the spot of favorite palette from Huda Beauty. It was the Mercury Retrograde palette, but Rose Quartz is just so good. It does have one shade in here which I am not a fan of. It's that like gooey gel shade with the little circle things in it. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that. I wish that was not there, and I wish there was something else there, like a regular powder shadow. But even with that, this is one of my all-time favorite palettes in general, but it's definitely my favorite Huda Beauty palette, and it is my favorite eyeshadow palette of 2021. I have a review on this. I think I have a few different videos doing different looks using this palette on my channel, so you guys can check those videos out if you want some demos, but this is great. I love the colors. I love the formulas. I love the packaging. I love the vibe of this palette, and it's fantastic. And I get a lot of questions to compare the two palettes, so I'll kind of hold them up side by side. I've done this before, but a lot of people think that these are very similar palettes, but when you see them side by side, I feel like you can tell that they are not similar at all. I mean, obviously they're like kind of similar because there's some like pinky purpley shades, But other than that, they're very, very different. So here is kind of trying to get a non-reflective angle. So here's a comparison between the two. Definitely very different. Definitely worth having both in my opinion. So that was my 2021 makeup favorites video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do not forget to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video. Like I said, everything will be linked down below in the description box. I love you all so, so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in 2022. I love you all so, so much. Bye!